And we welcome you into the sanctuary here at Fam Church. God bless you. Thank you for taking the time to be with us. Fam Church, do me a favor. Put your hands together and let's welcome our online community. God bless y'all. Well, Miss Kristen joins me yet again. Today's her last Sunday, and everybody said, "Aw."
No, thank you for allowing me to share the stage with Pastor John. It's been a pleasure, but I happily hand it back over to him.
She's done for sure. She's done for sure. Hey, speaking of Father's Day, and I, again, want to welcome all the fathers and wish them a happy Father's Day, but we have one. I happen to look over there through all the lights over. I see Adam and Christine over there. That's what I'm talking about. So for those of you that may not understand the screen that just come forth, he's a brand new papa again. So congratulations, son. Happy Father's Day to you. And Christine, we miss Mother's Day ever so closely, but God bless you and congratulations. Glad you're healthy. Glad the baby's healthy. And this is child number 3, right? That's right. So I keep telling people around here, you got to be careful. This is the Fertile Crescent. There's something in the water at Fam Church. So, well, we're going to be talking about fathers today. Father's Day, much like Mother's Day, people have mixed emotions about it, right? When it comes to Mother's Day, there's some people that didn't have a good mom. And so everybody's, got their pom-poms out and they're rah-rahing about moms and how great they are. And there's a lot of people who's like, you know what? I didn't have a great mom. Likewise, dads are the same way. There's a lot of people in here today who their dad just missed the mark. I'm one of those. Dad just wasn't around. He left when I was about 5 years old. I respect men that even though their marriages fall apart, they stay invested in the lives of their children. I thank God for men like that. Because unfortunately, it was just the luck of the draw for myself. When my dad left, he not only left physically, but he left financially, and he left emotionally. And when he left, he left. And so Father's Day for me has mixed emotions. I thank God I'm a father, right? I'm grateful for the opportunity. I don't know that I'm doing a good job. I leave Kristen to kind of determine whether or not she sounds sort of like the voice of God occasionally. So I leave it up to her to try to help me navigate sometimes because I got blind spots because fatherhood wasn't modeled for me, you see. So I have no idea really what I'm doing, but I'm trying. And I do love my kids despite me, going on about them a lot. I do thank God for them every day because they are a treasure from the Lord. Can I get a witness? Our children are. They are, and they're the greatest thing that we pass down. A lot of people want to pass down money and treasures and all this. Listen, legacy's not what you pass down, it's who is passed down. Let me say that again. Your legacy is not what you pass down. Your houses and stuff, everything that we have on this earth, if you haven't read the book of Revelation, is going to get burnt by fire. Hello? So all the stuff that you want to hand down that maybe a lot of people in our culture feels like it's important that you're handing down. Listen, it's not that important. Legacy is who you leave behind. And then so our children are what we leave behind. And if they can, follow the Lord with all of their heart, then I think I've won. Amen. As a dad, right? So we're going to talk about that today and some of the statistics in our culture of kids who are raised in homes that don't have dads. And there is some startling statistics here. And of course, Miss Kristen, as a marriage and family therapist, sees the results and the consequences of kids not having a dad at home every day of her life. She's around it all the time. Dads are so important in this culture, in any culture. Hello. Dads have been ostracized. Men have been put down. We have been relegated to the bottom shelf. We have been maligned, made fun of, ridiculed, made to feel as if we don't matter, that our voice doesn't matter. And I'm here to tell you that is a trick by Satan himself. Amen. To make fathers feel like they don't have a place and that they don't have a voice anymore and that they can't speak up and that they can't share truth in our culture and in our homes. That's right. And I'm here to tell you the devil has met his match with John White, because I do not care what people think about me at all if you have not been able to tell. What I'm interested in is truth. And I know that men are very important in our culture and in the lives of our children, in the lives of our homes. Our homes, it is absolutely critical that we have good, strong daddies in the house. It is what it is. Our homes, you want to know why our society is breaking down? Because there's no daddies in the house. That's why our culture is unraveling. Young people do not have their fathers in the home anymore, and it's showing. And listen, this hadn't just been going on since everybody got woke. I mean, I bought a season the other night of All in the Family. How many remember All in the Family? Archie Bunker. That show debuted in 1972. That was the year I was born, 50 years ago. Almost. You don't want me to get 50?
No, it's fine.
So 50 years ago, the show debuted. Archie Bunker was made to, just go watch the show. And there has been a concerted effort since then to absolutely gut men and give them no say in the family, in the home, in the culture, and everywhere else. I mean, you just look at something, go back to the 60s and the 50s and see the television shows. Go back and get Father's Knows Best. Find a television program. Find me a TV executive who's got the courage to call a show Father's Knows Best in this culture. He ain't got the guts to do that. They'll run scared and run away like their hair's on fire. They'll run so fast from that because they're cowards and they're scared. There's no way they would do that because they're afraid of the mob that might come to them. Doesn't matter if it's true or not. They're afraid that their pocketbooks are going to dry up. Well, listen, I will plant peas and corn and live like John the Baptist, eating honey and wild locusts the rest of my life if I can't speak truth. If truth causes me to live out in the woods somewhere eating tree bark, then God, so be it. But I'm here to tell you, we have got to get back to what's working. And listen, it ain't going to happen overnight, y'all. We didn't get here overnight. Hello? And we ain't getting out of this mess overnight. How do you know that the Lord, listen, and I'm Pentecostal through and through. But one of the things I've learned that I had to unlearn in Pentecostal circles is that the Lord don't zap as much as I was taught that he zaps things. Hello? I was taught all you got to do is just come to an altar in about 5 seconds and just zap, it's over. Lots of stuff. If it depends on you, then it depends on you. You do what God has equipped you to do. God only shows up where you can't do what you can do. Hello? Let me say that again. God's only going to show up where you run out of what you can do. But if you can do it, God's not going to show up and zap that situation. You know why? Because he expects you to do it. And so we have got to get back to doing the hard work. Now, off the soapbox, on to some statistics. Miss Kristen, 85%, that'd be a lot. 85% of our youth who are currently in prison right now, 85% of them, guess what? Grew up without a daddy.
It's actually the number one way that you can predict if someone's going to go to jail is if their father is not in their life.
85%, y'all. You'd think them you-yous up there in Washington, D.C. would know that and would help facilitate something that would encourage daddies to stay in the home. But they ain't gonna do that. That's why it's up to me and you. If there's gonna be revival in the land, listen to me, y'all. Y'all watching, listen to me. If there's gonna be a revival in the land, it ain't coming out of Washington, D.C. It ain't coming out of Hollywood. It ain't coming out of Silicon Valley. You know where revival starts? In the house of the Lord. And daddies have got to start doing what we got to do in the house of the Lord. 85% of people in prison grew up without a daddy. I got a lot more.
Children from fatherless homes are twice as likely to drop out from school before graduating than children who have a father in their lives.
Twice as likely to fall out of school. You say, well, Pastor John, you grew up without a daddy. Did you drop out of high school? Sure did. My oldest, okay, Faith Elizabeth, is going into the 11th grade this year, okay, 11th grade. She's got 2 more years. Check this out. We're living in 2022. She's supposed to graduate in 2024. She will be the first person in my family to ever graduate from high school. You say, that sounds mighty redneck. Oh, you have no idea where I come from. If it wasn't for the Lord, there's no telling where I'd be. Well, I'd be in prison. I'd be with these other 85% of the people who are in jail. No doubt about it. But the Lord put me on a different path, and I'm so forever more grateful. So, yeah, my children will be the first. No one in my family has ever graduated high school. Your daddy? No. Your mom? No. Grandparents? No. Nope. Nope. Never. Ever. So, yeah. Miss Kristen, this statistic is a little bit, almost 30 million kids live at home today without their biological daddy in the house. Did you hear that? Nearly 30 million children live at home without their biological daddy in the house. Do you see that we got a problem? Big problem. And that's why men need to be encouraged. We got to turn this thing around. Okay? And I love the ladies, and listen, we do everything, but the trend over the last few years was, you know, you got to build your women up. You got to build your women up. You got to make sure that the women are taken care of. You got to do the women and the women and the women and the. How about the men? How about the men? Hey, ladies, when's the last time you built your man up? Yeah, I know it got quiet in here quick. I get it. It's because we don't think about it. It's not on the radar. But ladies, when's the last time you built him up? Instead of chastising him that he won't fold clothes. Here's a news flash. Shocker, I know. Maybe he ain't designed and built to fold clothes. Oh, Pastor John, my God, what in the world? Where'd you hear that at? Oh, I don't know. The Bible? Culture has told you that men are supposed to fold clothes. See, it gets quiet. But that's okay. Listen, I'm here for truth. So we got to do a better job of building our men up, encouraging our men. There's things that they are designed and built to do, and there are things that they are designed and built not to do. It's just the way it is. I don't know if you know, in our culture, we tried to blur the lines between men and women. Okay? I understand what's going on. Satan's at work in our culture. Okay? But the rest of us who have a brain left in our head knows that there's a difference between men and women. I'm going to just preach to you. Kristen, there's a difference between me and you.
A big difference.
There's a big difference between me and you. We don't look at things the same way. We don't act the same way. We don't react the same way. There's things you're good at. There's things I'm terrible at. There's things you're terrible at. And there's things I'm good at.
I don't think our words could actually explain the depth of the need of a father in the home with their children. I mean, we could sit up here for days and try to explain it, but the importance, and these statistics try to show you how important it is, but without a father in their lives, the children are pretty much doomed for their success for the rest of their lives. Listen to this one. We always talk about teen pregnancy and like the 4 times more likely for them to get pregnant. But listen to this. Girls who live in a fatherless home have 100% higher risk of suffering from obesity. Just look at our nation, the most obese nation probably there is.
Oh, no doubt.
100% more likely to be obese.
And it's across the board. I mean, it doesn't matter about race. I mean, the African American culture, God bless them, they have been decimated by their daddies not being in the home. Decimated. Everybody's up there in Washington, D.C. saying, what can we do to figure this out? What's going on in the African American community? Oh, my Lord, there's so much violence and this and that. What can we do? Listen, I tell you what you can do, federal government. Incentivize them daddies to stay at home. Incentivize them going to church. Listen, I could solve that problem in about 5 seconds, but nobody wants to listen. And thank God I ain't running for office. But I'm here to tell you, incentivize them daddies being at home. When we have in the African American community, up to 70% of the kids that are being born in the African American community are being born out of wedlock. 70%. That is catastrophic. And everybody's scared to say something about it, afraid of being labeled a racist or whatever. But the fact still is the same. We've got to get some way into the heads of the African American fathers and let them know that their place is in their house. Hispanics are not, they're in the high 30s, and whites are in the high 20s of kids being, so ain't nobody really got much room to talk. So we've got some work to do, daddies, and I'm here to tell you, we're here to encourage you at Fam Church to toe the line, baby. Keep doing your thing. I know it's hard work. Hello? It is hard work to be a daddy, but you got to get in there. You got to stay in there all the time, all the time. Let's talk about poverty. This was over a decade ago. This statistic came out. You're going to have, if you've got a single mom at home and no dad there, 50% chance you're going to be living in poverty. And that was me. When my dad left, he left financially too. Did not support the family at all. I grew up in poverty, grew up with a chip on my shoulder. And it wasn't until I became a grown man and was able to get out on the mission field and go to third world nations that I really saw what poverty looked like, and it helped me reorient my thinking, because I just thought I was poor until I went to some places overseas, these third world nations, and I thought, I will never talk about how poor I was ever again. I had it pretty good compared to what I'm seeing with my own eyes, you understand? But in America, poverty, it'll put a hurting on you that I don't know that you ever outgrow. So the single best way to stay out of poverty is for mama and daddy to be at the house, working together, trying to raise a family. Can I get an amen to that? That's what works. And I know it gets hard. Me and Kristen fight them battles too. And you have to make up your mind about how much stuff do you want. How much stuff do you want? And that will determine what kind of stress you're going to have in your family life. If you're wanting to live good, get ready. You're going to have a lot of stress. But how many know it doesn't take a lot of money to live good? I mean, to live, it takes a lot of money to live good, but not a whole lot of money to live. Well, Miss Kristen, there's several things I know that you're wanting to say. But I mean, we could go on and on and on. You want to talk about drug use? Poverty, we talked about kids being born out of wedlock, trouble, all this. 75% of people that are battling drug addictions, guess what? No daddy in the house. There was no daddy there to say, listen, I catch you smoking a joint, I'm going to slap you across your head until your ears ring like church bells on a Sunday morning. Let me catch you smoking pot. I will knock you out. You see what I'm talking about? Everybody say, my God, that's harsh. Listen, you don't think drugs are harsh? Sometimes you got to be rough. Now, listen, and we all know each kid's different. The Bible says you don't, especially the fathers, you don't drive your children to exasperation. You can't drive them. Some kids, though, you got to stay on them because they're thick. They're hard-headed.
But it's important for fathers to set a standard.
Yes.
You know, I mean, there's a difference between harshness and a standard. And all dads need to have a standard to what they hold their kids to, because they respect you so much that they will try to live up to that standard.
Yes. So all this stuff, look at, I mean, we could go on and on and on. 90% of the kids who run away from home, 90% of the kids who run away from home, guess what? They ain't got no daddy there. 90% of the kids who run away from their house, there's no father there. 90%. I mean, you can go on down here. 85% of kids who exhibit some sort of behavioral problem. Do me a favor. We got many teachers here at Fam Church, that teach in the public school system. Go ask them which of the kids in their classroom have behavioral problems. I can go ahead and tell you right now, it's the ones where their mamas and daddies ain't together and they're in these situations at home that it's not good. Go ask them. They'll tell you straight up. And everybody's afraid to say it. Listen, Kristen and I are heavily involved in this community here in Morganton. Between baseball and football and band and basketball, we are everywhere. Listen, I can spot a kid who don't have a dad a mile off, throwing tantrums out there. Have you ever been there? Be out there. It doesn't matter if it's in the grocery store or at the ballpark. We all see these kids who have these absolute meltdowns. And they're with a mom, but the dad ain't nowhere near there, because they know that if they had a daddy there, that kid would be snatched up and his bottom would be busted. And he'd know to act right. And of course, that brings up another thing. Pastor John, are you saying that we should whip our children? All eyes on me. Yes. I ain't telling you to beat them and leave bruises and everything like that, but I'm going to tell you what, a good smack across the rear end ain't hurt nobody. And that's one of the reasons why all these people are losing their lunch right now. You know, they say, all these kids were, they were, well, that's what's wrong with them. They were hit as children. No, that's what's right with them. But anyway, Miss Kristen, I know you got some things to go, and we're running out of time because we got a drawing this morning. By the way, dads, first service and second service, giving away here in just a few moments, because I don't know if you noticed or not, gas is kind of high lately. A $100 gas card, we say, to the fathers this morning. Yep. So yeah. See, they won't clap when I'm talking truth about fathers. But I mention a $100 gift card and to get gas, and they lose it. Joking.
Okay, I wanted to talk about, we've kind of shared our own upbringing, and I want to talk about my own dad, and maybe he's watching. Happy Father's Day,
Happy
Dad.
Father's Day, Rick.
Love you very much. You guys have heard the story that my parents were divorced when I was a 14, 15-year-old teenager. And my dad made some mistakes as a husband, but he did something right as a father. I became very angry. My whole world shifted in that moment when I learned that my father had an affair on my mom. It rocked my world in the way of the Lord, in marriage, in relationships, and I had a hard time for a while, and I was very angry at him. And a lot of times, dads will run from that anger, especially when you have a smart-mouthed teenager. But my dad did something that was very important. He stayed engaged and he stayed present in my life. He made sure that he was at my ball games. He even, I think, volunteered more during that time, became my coach, connected with me. That's something that I love. He still took me hunting with him. He woke up, I worked at Dunkin' Donuts, and this was when we used to actually bake the donuts there. And I had to be at work at like 4 a.m. as a teenager before I could drive. And he woke up and took me to Dunkin' Donuts for I think 6 months where I didn't say a word to him because I was so angry at him. But he still got up and participated with me and loved me until I was able to begin to heal, thankfully to the Lord. But he didn't run from that. And that made the difference between how I continued my life and how he continued his life. We're prime examples of the importance of fathers, even when there's a breakdown of marriage, to stay engaged and consistent in your child's life. It will mean the world to them.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that's what I wanted to tell Rick, too, because I know we're out of time. We got to change gears. Rick, happy Father's Day to you. Kudos to what Kristen said. I piggyback that as well. I respect you for doing that. And I respect all single fathers, regardless of, listen, you can't help if your marriage breaks down. I get it, man. But you can help stay involved and invested in your children, the lives of your kids. That you can help. That there is definitely on you. And I applaud any father that wants to get involved and stay involved in the life of their children, because it does make a difference. It makes the world of difference in our lives.
I know I have 1 minute, and I'm going to end today with this.
Okay.
I'm going to encourage all the moms to ask your children what it means to them for their dad, what their dad does to them that is important to them. And I asked our own kids, and so I want to honor you today from what our own children said about you.
You're going to mess me up here in front of all these people, man. I'm supposed to be hard as stone, you know.
You're not. So Curry, he says that his dad protects him and always wants to play with him, and that means a lot to him. And if you guys don't know, we have a bull out in our field, so it's quite literal that he protects him in many ways. But that means a lot to Curry that you protect him and that you go out and you play and you throw the ball with him. Emily says that he's always teaching her how to cook and do things outside. And he's always helping us and he's always there. And Faith says he's not too harsh with us. And these are her words. Some dads' testosterone makes them really aggressive with their kids, but our dad isn't. And she also said he encourages us in our own pursuits, even if he doesn't like them. If you don't know, she's a band kid, and John is very sportsy, but she knows that he still goes and cares for the things that are important to her.
That's true.
So, you know, your own kids have a lot to say, and they can, even young, can tell you how much you mean to them if you ask. And you mean the world to us. You're a great dad. I'm just happy to be in this journey with you.
No,
so thank you.
You're very kind, baby. I love you and appreciate you. Love my children, too. That means the world to me that they're, because that's what I do. I am there, and I try to do all those things for them. Again, I don't do well, as you know, in vacuuming floors.
It's okay.
Or folding laundry. But in the things that matter in the life of my children, I do take pride in doing the things the right way.
That's right. And I've taught them how to vacuum the floor, so we're good.
Well, let me sign off now, because I know that I don't want our folks who are watching online to just sit there while we take up these names, so that we can have a drawing for this $100 gift card for some gas this week. You say, well, how might I get involved in that? Oh, it's easy, baby. Come to Fam Church. And then you're here and you can sign up for the drawing, because you must be present to win. And so we welcome and thank you for welcoming us. We welcome you and thank you for being here in the sanctuary with us today. But we're going to sign off now. So, Miss Linda, if in the back room, if you'll sign off, we'd greatly appreciate it. Y'all take care, and we'll see you next week. God bless you. All right.